Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AWD Spotlight series. My name is Meredith Yinger. I am an AWD member and director, and we are so fortunate today to have the one and only Marissa Vonn with us here today. Hi, Marissa.
Hi.
Now, Marissa is a director of the film Little Texas, amongst other projects, but I want to hand it over to Marissa. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about you.
Thank you for a great introduction. That was very effusive and I loved it. Um, I'm a director currently based in Los Angeles, but I grew up in the Midwest in Iowa, where there are more pigs than people. It's a very different landscape there. I've been directing films for, let's see, 9 years, mostly short films. I just directed my first feature last fall,
Amazing.
and I mainly focus on family dramas and thrillers and a little bit of I wouldn't say horror, but a little bit of leaning into horror. But my biggest focus is family dramas and dramas with complex characters.
I love that. It's all about the characters, you know. If you have just a
Yeah,
little bit of character drama, it'll go a long way.
yeah, it really does.
And can you tell me sort of a little bit more about your experience maybe in the short film category and how you kind of progressed? And obviously you're doing features now, but just walk me through what that has been like for you.
So I when I first got into I went to film school. I went to school in Florida because I thought I wanted to make music videos just because I love music and that was like, teen angst. You're like, love my emo music. And so I just want to make music videos. Let me go to college about it, as one does. And then music videos weren't necessarily like the course of college. It was like narrative films, documentaries, things like that. So I started making short films in college and realized, oh, actually, what I want to do is make films because I want to tell a concrete, not that you can't tell a concrete story with a music video, but you know,
It's
uh,
different.
it's totally different. And so I started making short films in college. Um, and then, it's a lot of money. So I couldn't make a short film after college for 3 years. And then I did my first super low budget short, which is called Lunation. And then Little Texas was the next project after that. And then I connected with my producing partner and we started making some like higher production value shorts, and essentially made one every year until last year we made a feature.
I like it. It slowly progressed and built up. That's what we like to hear, you know?
Yeah, it was kind of, I'm sure you felt the same way. Like after so many shorts, it's like it's time to just take the leap. And
Yeah.
it's it's not that different. Like you have 5 days for a short and indie features, not much more.
Yep. You're like, how
Like
much can we do in
yeah,
a very little amount of time?
exactly. So yeah, natural progression. It was time. It was yeah, it was the right move.
And can you tell me, walk me through, or give us a little synopsis about Little Texas and kind of your inspiration behind why did you choose this subject matter? What was really gnawing at you that you wanted to tell this story?
I don't know if anybody remembers 2017 because it was a lifetime ago, totally different planet. Uh, but I was inspired by the Women's March of 2017, which we all know what happened in 2017. And I was scared. I think most women were, and like just picturing a future without access to reproductive care
Mhm.
and thinking of like what people would have to go through to take care of themselves. So somehow I ended up researching most restrictive abortion laws in the United States, and
Mm,
that put me firmly in Texas.
mm.
And I was just thinking of what someone would have to do if they were in a place where they needed an abortion and couldn't get one in their home state. And that's what led me to Little Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. And is it sort of trippy and scary to you that you made this film in 2017 and here we are today?
Yeah, oh my goodness. I did not think I shouldn't say I didn't think. I really hoped this film would not be relevant in 5 years.
Mhm.
And yet it clearly has only gotten more relevant.
Right.
Um, yeah, I was really hoping things would not go the way they did, but it was rooted in fear, and that fear hasn't really changed. Like it's still scary, but there's, people are finding different avenues to do what they need to do and take care of themselves. And it, yeah, trippy is a great word. It's really wild to like think that this type of thing is actually happening more now because the laws have only gotten more restrictive.
Right.
So I think looking back at it now, I'm like, wow, didn't expect this to pan out the way that it did.
Yeah. And have you noticed like a more, or have you been utilizing the film, more often now in conversations or in, pitches just because of the relevant subject matter?
I have not been lucky enough to be in a room to give pitches. So there's that. But I feel like, let me rephrase that in a normal way. I feel like the film has become more relevant again because there's other media in a similar genre. I'm gonna mess up the order of the title. Never, rarely, sometimes, always. The film. I want to say her name is Eliza Hittman, I think is the director. Similar concept, freaking absolutely amazing movie. There's an HBO show I think called Unpregnant. There's like a lot of reproductive rights adjacent shows and content coming out, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's feeling relevant again and still relevant. And I was like, this could be a good avenue, exactly like you said, when I'm in the room to pitch on things like that, to use this as reference, even though it feels ancient now because 5 years ago might as well have been the Jurassic era at this point.
I know. We lost at least 40 years of our lives, I'm pretty sure.
We really did. 2020, 2021, 2022, I think each of those were a decade.
Yes, I agree 100%. Well, I think it's really amazing that you crafted this story that, we were hoping wasn't going to be relevant, but in the same sense, I'm glad that it exists, right? Like your project and these other projects that are coming out about reproductive rights, because we can look to them for encouragement also and know that like the relationships within these stories, that's what I'm hoping for, right? For the future, that we find a way to support each other, to, help each other along this crazy route that we are now having to deal with in terms of legislation and just health and safety. So,
yeah.
I don't know if you want to share more about that, but I definitely am excited to see what you come up with next.
Yeah, I think exactly what you said. Like, see, it's the relationship of the film is what's really important. Like seeing these two, this young woman and this, she's also a young woman. They're two young women, but they're different. They're different generations because Ellie is like 13 and Raina is in her 20s. So seeing those relationships and knowing that is what carried these characters through is kind of reassuring, I think, going forward, because there are so many organizations now with the laws that are being overturned and what's happening in our country that are helping to build those relationships, and there are people like expanding and building grassroots networks to help people get abortion pills, which are still legal and easily accessible via the internet if you need them, or if you want to be prepared. There are so many people and organizations like helping people find that, and I think that's what's really important, is finding community and like seeing that community reflected on screen.
Yeah, 100%. And do you have any kind of like advice as you went through this project or any of your other projects, any and all turmoil that happens? Do you have anything on the other side looking back where you're like, that would have been really helpful to know?
So I don't know what, I don't even know how to describe it, if I'm like a purist or what, but I just love shooting on location. I don't know why, for my first like bigger scale short out of college, why I thought, why don't I shoot this in Texas instead of shooting it? I lived in Indiana at the time. Like, why shoot close to home? Don't go somewhere else.
It makes it more real.
It did, that's for sure. And we actually shot outside an abandoned clinic. So that was heartbreaking. But shoot close to home, shoot with your friends, like especially for your first like projects, you're kind of scaling up into bigger stuff. Work with what you have, keep the budget low, and think ahead to your edit and your editor, because I tried to cut the film myself first. No, can't do that. A lot of directors do it and do it really well, but it's so hard to separate yourself from like production and from like, oh, I love this shot, I love this XYZ. It's so hard to take yourself away from that, and hiring an editor or bringing somebody else in to do it it's so valuable.
Oh, yes. When you're so deep in the weeds, it's really nice to have an outside perspective that's like, maybe we don't need this.
Yeah, maybe the movie doesn't need to be 30 minutes long, because somehow that's what I had done. And I don't know how. The movie's not 30 minutes long. It didn't need to be.
But you live and you learn, right? That's a
Exactly.
part of your process.
Exactly. And I love people that can do that. That is such a great skill. And I'm
Yeah,
jealous, but I cannot do it. I cannot do it.
I feel you. I'm in the same boat. But it is nice to have an outside perspective and other person telling you, maybe we can change this, or maybe we can do this in a different way,
Right.
and have an alternate idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any current projects, or what are you working on now that you're really excited to share?
I just picture locked my first feature. It's called Knee High. It's a family drama that takes place in Iowa, where I grew up. Um, and it's currently with our post sound person, our colorist, and the composer. We're looking at a fall of this year release.
That's so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
doing
Yeah, doing it.
it. I love it. That's so exciting. I can't wait to see it. Is there any way that people can get involved with it? Do you want to share it? Is there an Instagram page? Is there anything that you want to share?
Yeah, so you can find behind the scenes stills, all that kind of stuff on the film's Facebook page, which is just if you search Knee High Film, it'll come up. And then you can find some more information about the process and how we crowdfunded on Seed and Spark on my website, which is just marissavonn.com. And then anything else, the easiest way to contact me is probably Instagram or through my website. And I'm just Marissa Vonn everywhere.
Like it. Keeping it simple. It's easy to
Yeah.
remember.
It's an easy name to remember as my thought process.
I like it. Easy to find. That's what we want.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself today with you. Do you have any final thoughts, last words of wisdom, anything you want to share before we sign off?
Um, make your movie, tell your story. The world needs it. So just go make your movie.
I like it. Thank you. Yes, what a big word. I like it. Keep making your movies. But thank you, Marissa,
Yes.
so much for sharing a little bit about you and your project and your work with me. I'm so excited to see Knee High, and I will definitely be on the lookout for more things from you in the future. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is
Thank you. Thank you so much.